I definitely saw that in the quarterfinals. We'll have to wait and see here. They'll begin their run down to that first corner here at the Nürburgring as round 6 of ESL R1 is about to get underway, and we are moving. What has happened on this race start? Both Porsche Coanders not getting going. Josh Rogers dropping back into the middle of the pack, and Dane Warren all the way off the rear end. You've got James Baldwin attacking down to the first corner, but Luke Bennett is able to easily hang on to the race lead after... What drama was that, George?
I'm speechless, Lewis. I mean, obviously not purposely, obviously I'm talking right now, but how can you, I mean, I just can't, how do you describe a moment like that? Just Dane Warren losing it altogether at that point. Joshua Rogers as well. I might as well throw my prediction right out the window here at this point as well. He's outside the top 6, but nevertheless, Bono House taking full advantage now in P7 with Ryan Barneveld all over his rear, but Luke Bennett, no qualms about his start. James Baldwin just in behind him, and look at Thomas Tackler, heroic, still powering their way through. 3rd place here with Seb Job just behind him.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what happened. It's odd that it was both Porsche Commander esports cars that were the ones that dropped back. Either they were trying a new start technique or something in that vein, or potentially even there was something on their side that they weren't seeing, because everyone else reacted fine. As far as I saw, as far as that brief moment that I saw, it seemed like everyone else reacted. It was just both of the Porsche Commander esports cars basically didn't move on the start. That is very bizarre. We have not seen that in ESL R1 before. It almost looked as if they'd like bogged down or stalled, potentially more on the bogged down side of things. Maybe they were doing something with the clutch.
Well, it does make you wonder. It's intriguing, really. As you say, happening to both drivers of the same team. Intriguing moment, and nevertheless, they've got a huge upward climb now on their hands. Obviously, Joshua Rogers, you know, he is obviously a huge talent.
Oh,
Into the pit lane, though. Wow.
Jump start.
Okay, so drive through.
Must have been.
Incredible.
Must have been a jump start. Because it's kind of like, so you might think, well, he had a jump start, but he didn't move anywhere. But he might have like jumped the initial bit, stopped, and then went, oh damn. Either way, it's happened now, and Rogers does not seem to be going through to a final. Bonner House is trying to make sure that he can do so. Max Benecker straight down the inside of Erhan Yovsky, who had a 3rd place finish on Friday night. And Bonner House is going to be staring at all of this through the Mercedes arena section, thinking, hey, I'm in a Mercedes. This is surely my place to attack.
And battles further up, open doors, that's for sure. And certainly Bono House will have that firmly on his mind. Joshua Rogers, you got confirmation from race control. Drive through due to false start. So there you go, folks at home. That is the reason why he's come in. Not an ideal start whatsoever for Porsche Coander. Both of them now routed to the tail end of the field. Dane Warren in 11th, Josh Rogers in 12th. Bono House, though, searching for a top 6 visit after having such a difficult start to his season. He's slowly working towards bouncing back. Can he find the same grind that James Baldwin has secured? Because he's only 4/10 away off the lead.
Yeah, well, it's whether Baldwin's going to attack for anything or maybe just try and test out his race pace right now and see what he's got in the tank, whether he can keep up with Luke Bennett, because that'll really assist his efforts coming through into the final. And hey, potentially a race win also would. Of course, Bennett's had a few race wins in ESL R1. James Baldwin yet to pick up his first on a round where it seemed, though, as if Mercedes was struggling. We spoke about this back in Spa when we were talking to James Baldwin, actually, last round. He was saying at Spa, the Mercedes wasn't the favourite car, yet Dara McCormack still found something special with it and took victory in that round. Could this be the round where James Baldwin's potentially doing something of a similar effect? Because, well, let's be honest, he's pretty quick. And he was your pick as well at home.
Yeah, absolutely. He is certainly the pick of many people, and you'd be silly not to. And I tell you what, Bono House now might have found something heading through the final corner at Coca-Cola as they now make their way down the straight. You can just see they're just tailing after Erhan Yovsky, who has in fact lost a little bit of ground to Max Benecker ahead. Now that gap is stretched to half a second, but just see the straight line speed difference there. He's managed to actually coop a lot of pace, but late in the brakes, perhaps a little look down the inside from Bono House, but not choosing to pull the plug yet on a move here on Erhan Yovsky, as we're now seeing Ryan Barneveld also getting closer in behind. Jamie Fluke also threatening that of the BS competition BMW as now they peel through towards this next right-hander. You just see him now, just nose to tail. The 2 Apex cars literally touching nose to tail as they now peel through, down through now towards Sector 2. They got turn 5 and turn 6 still yet ahead of them, with Dane Warren still right in behind. Joshua Rogers now all the way down in P12, 20 seconds off the pace. It's just bad to worse for Porsche Coander right now.
Yeah, I think Rogers will basically be settled on picking up just the 7 points. Is all he's going to get from this, i.e. finishing in 12th. That's what you get for it. You finish 12th in the semi-final, and it is just 7 points to your name. Again, it's very bizarre as to what happened there. Getting confirmation as well. Obviously, Rogers received a drive-through penalty for a false start. Dane Warren did not. Whatever they were trying on the start, I feel it's a little too coincidental that it was both the Porsche Commander esports cars. Whatever they were trying on the start, I get the feeling might have been very similar, and it's just it went really, really, really bad for Rogers, and just quite devastatingly bad, only a little bit, but pretty bad for Warren. If you get what I mean, I get the feeling they were trying something on that start. They might not have been. It might have just been a normal start, and it might have just been a coincidence. But that's just what my commentary brain is telling me.
Yeah, well, I think you could be absolutely right. Regardless of either way it goes, both Porsches in trouble here at this point, and what looked to be such a positive turn of foot for them heading through to this round. Obviously, they have seen success. They had success, obviously, in round 5 at Hockenheimring, but prior to that, they had a couple of quarter-final exits, which certainly didn't help at Spa in round 4, but jumping back up again into semi-final action, and again, they got 2 cars that don't seem to be finding their way into the finals. That puts more impetus now on the big Mac Backup later on when we go racing. Max Benneker now coming through this next left at Mercedes Arena. Mouse currently sat in that 5th place, obviously looking to jettison its way forward. Obviously they had a car go out already. Of course, we saw obviously the fights happening through the group. Yuri Kasdorp as well, who has obviously been one of their figure points over the last couple of rounds at Hockenheim and Spa, as well as we're now seeing Benneker move his way through to the next left, still chasing Sebastian Joby. He might choose though just to hold position, effectively own his place right now, just so he can tee something up for the final later on. Of course, Yuyovsky is the man that's effectively in trouble because Bono House is right on his tail. Jamie Fluke now 1 second off the pace of Bono House, which goes to show that Ryan Barneveld is riding his rear wing, looking to try and reclaim the 8th place that he lost.
Yeah, I don't know if Beneke is going to actually feel comfortable right now. Yes, I know he's in that 5th position. Sebastian Job is ahead. And by the way, as much as we've spoken about how much Rogers and Sebastian Job have fought, trust me, Maximilian Beneke and Sebastian Job have fought their fair amount over the last few years. Whether it's in PESC, obviously for anyone who doesn't know, that's the Porsche Esports Super Cup, one of the highest levels of racing that you can do in sim racing. Of course, it's one of the iRacing World Championships, and so having Sebastian Job as a champion of that, Maximilian Beneke wants to really challenge for it. These two have raced quite a bit, so it is a bit of a feisty fight. They do know how they're going to race. But like I say, if I'm Beneke, you've got Yuyovsky behind, you've got House not that far behind, and one little mistake or one audacious send from the Macedonian behind, there is potential for you to be the one to pay the price. So I would rather be in 4th right now.
Well, at least then you've got a protective barrier then, I suppose, between anything that happens from P7 to P6. And of course, you don't want to be falling, a fallen victim, essentially, in a mix-up there. Is again going close there, Beneke, as he now looks to push Sebastian Job right behind. Job, in fact, losing time off Thomas Tattler, who's currently owning pretty much no man's land. A second between him and Baldwin, a second between him and Job. And just look at this from Max Beneke, who is certainly getting very close in behind Job now, almost pushing him through the Mercedes Arena curve, whipping through turn 4. They've got a little bit of a stretch now ahead before they then descended towards turn 5 in sector 2. Further back, Yuyovsky still in the mix, trying to hold on to that P6, but he himself building a gap. The gap between him and House now nearly out to 0.7 of a second. So Yuyovsky starting to find some pace himself. The Audi looking in good form.
Yeah, certainly so. It's looking plenty fast enough at the moment around the Nürburgring Grand Prix. And again, it's that whole thing that there are drivers that, then this is just a thing with sim racing, and it is the same in motorsport as well, as I'm sure you know, George, more so than most, having commentated on GT3 categories, that drivers just love to complain about BOP every single day of the week. It is just it's a normal form of conversation between the slot. But let's just go through this a little bit. Race leader, Team Redline, BMW. 2nd place, Mercedes, obviously a Mercedes. 3rd place, Porsche, Heroic. 4th place, BMW, sure, GT, but then you've got a couple of Audis in behind. We've got all 4 of our marks inside that top 6. I mean, that seems pretty balanced. Let's see if James Baldwin will go for a move now. Seemed to lift off a little early there.
Well, I tell you what, a race win would do wonders for James Baldwin's confidence. I think obviously he himself has spoken about how their early form, what hasn't necessarily been representative of what they believe to be the best performance that they can bring to the table. I'm sure without any shadow of a doubt, he gets a better exit, I would argue, heading out to the Coca-Cola curve as well. Will he choose to open up the door in towards turn 1, or will he secure safety of the result? He looks to be getting closer though to the back of the BMW. Inside line now for James Baldwin as he goes for the lead of the race. Here in semi-final 1, he has the favourable inside line 2, but Bennett looking to try and hold on, wants to hold on to a great record here at the Nürburgring and does so brilliantly. But James Baldwin asking the big questions even in the early stages of the semi-final. Brilliant scenes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, Bennett at the moment, he's done, well, this is his 5th race around the Nürburgring in ESLR1, having obviously won the 3 races in round 3 of ESLR1. Obviously finished runner-up. He has a 100% podium record around here, but he wants to bring that percentage of race wins back up to 80%, which he would do here, having won 4 of 5 races if he can take this one. But James Baldwin, I mean, these are 2 proper talents in the world of sim racing, and you know, one of them is the young gun in the form of Luke Bennett. James Baldwin's the driver. This spin round, he's done a bit. He's picked up a few awards. He's won a fair amount in the world of sim racing. What can he do here? It is a lot of experience that is sat on the shoulders of Luke Bennett, and had Bennett not won in round 3, I'd be sitting here thinking, can he really deal with that kind of pressure? And the answer is yes, absolutely. I don't have a single doubt in my mind that Luke Bennett's heart rate right now is probably not actually that high. I get the feeling he's a very calm kid.
I think if this was the final, it'd be a very different complexion. But I think we've learnt a lot more about James Baldwin in this race rather than anyone else, I think, in this field. Obviously, we've seen the form of Mercedes recently. Baldwin coming off the back of the last round with a 3rd place in our final last time out. And again, showing a great turn of foot heading out of the final corner. Baldwin might yet again go for a send here. Very similar car placement as where he was on the previous lap. Luke Bennett a scratch to the forehead as now they make their way down through towards turn 1 now, heading towards the Castrol S, and there you can see them together. Baldwin not opting for the move just yet, or just sitting in behind, happy to stay there. Nevertheless, as well, we've got a battle still firming up now as we're seeing Benneker now looking for a move on Seb Job as well, heading through the Mercedes Arena curve. A right smile on the face of Benneker as Bennett, also should I say Sebastian Job, doing brilliantly to hold back the tide from the man from Mouse as they peel through Sector 1, soon to be Sector 2. Again, a great display from 2 greats in sim racing.
Yeah, Sebastian Jones is doing a really good job defensively. I think he went out a little wide at T1, but that might have been intentional. Missed the apex, but it gives that inside line for T2 in the Mercedes Arena section. Smart play from a driver who knows how to win races, who knows how to get jobs done. I get it. Anyway, moving on. Sebastian Jones at the moment is in that 4th spot. Beneke, Yayovski, but then of course Bonnerhaus is sat there. And I get the feeling that, considering that we've seen the straight line speed of that Merc seems to be okay, James Baldwin's shown that off on a couple of occasions, nearly getting quite close to Bennett. I get the feeling Bonnerhaus might try something on Yayovski over the final lap. Obviously, we're on the penultimate lap of this race. There is one more after this. There's that one more attempt down into T1. I get the feeling that if anyone's going to take an offer in that, it would be Bonnerhaus. He's going to get desperate now.
Yeah, he certainly does. Certainly currently sat P7, and we're here on lap 7 of 8, the penultimate lap. We've got one more to take after this one. Yayovski obviously not letting anything phase him right now, still holding on to that 6th spot ahead of the Merc there of Bono House with Jamie Fluke, who's just parked in behind as well. Now that he's entered the fray, might be a chance here for the ART to find its way into the mix as well. They've got nothing to lose at this point. They might as well go for it here as they begin to enter the final lap of the race. AC House now getting a little later on the brakes, heading around the Coca-Cola curve. Of course, both of them chasing Max Benneker, who is chasing Sebastian Job again as well. Up at the top end, Baldwin opting to stay in 2nd as well. Thomas Tatler breaking into that 2nd gap as well, with Job a 2nd back from him. Benneker as well in the mix. There's Yayovski with Bono House just in behind. We'll look to certainly perhaps pounce heading through the Mercedes Arena curve. They will, of course, have yet another right-hander to take as they peel through the Castrol S and Mercedes Arena curve, down through towards the Valvoline curve very soon as well. But still, Benneker providing a wall against Yayovski, who in turn protecting his placement of P6 against that of Bono House, who is asking the questions but not getting close enough to manufacture a move here.
But we have seen some late race switches. Obviously, in the quarterfinals, we did see some late race switches going down into NGK. That is surely that's a really good option for some of these, you know, for a last lap dive, right?
We would have thought so. I mean, there's plenty of options. I mean, certainly if you get a good run heading out of the Michael Schumacher S up towards turn 10 of the Michelin curve, then of course you've got the NGK chicane, which we've seen a few moves being made in the past year, certainly back in round 3 when we ran racing here at the Nürburgring. But plenty of opportunity on the table for any driver here on this grid order. Naturally though, a lot of them will be around that P6, 7 and 8 mark. We'll have to wait and see. Can Bono House send it up through towards this final sector?
Yeah, we are entering it now, of course. Is there going to be any opportunities? I don't feel Bonner House is quite close enough. Might have to fend off Fluke as well as they head out onto the backstretch towards Ab van Bogen. Is there going to be a last opportunity here? James Baldwin's going to be very close, coming up towards NGK. He's slightly faster on the speed. He's going to go to the right-hand side, commit on the brakes, but I get the feeling Bennett's going to hang on here. On a racetrack that he's got such an impressive record at, Luke Bennett is going to come down to the final corner, covering off Baldwin just a touch, having a couple of looks coming down to that final section. Team Medline leave the final corner. It's going to be 4 wins from 5 at the Nürburgring for Luke Bennett, who comes across the line to win again ahead of Baldwin, Tattler, Sebastian Job, Max Benecker and Erhan Yovski. Bit of a smile on his face as he crosses the line. A bit of a fist bump as well. But a super performance from Luke Bennett. I mean, he did it in qualifying. He did it in the race. Section perfection for the man who knows exactly how to get it done around the Nürburgring. George, what a lad.
Well, he's done it again, isn't he? A winner here at the Nürburgring, here in the semi-final as well. But what a statement to see James Baldwin literally pushing him around the final corner.